What's going on, guys? Kwasi here for Kwasi Animations and Kwasi Media. What we're going to do here today is talk about basic camera animation. I'm going to try to make this as fast as possible. I added a cube. We're not going to talk about that part right now. You're going to hear sound in the background. That is my heater. Let's go ahead and make this thing pop off. Okay, so I added the cube. Now I'm going to add a camera. Now, my whole objective here is I'm going to do everything in the actual layout. So I'm not going to go into the animation tab or anything like that. I'll go ahead and show you what I'm doing. Then this series is basically going to be about people that want to try to animate series or that they've extracted characters from a game. And I do that for some of my series where I have game characters extracted from games like Xenoverse 2, Jump Force, etc. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and just show you some basic camera actions that you can do and how you can go about it. So I'm going to talk about certain parts that are actually in menus, properties, and whatnot that you could use to make the situation easier on yourself. So I'm gonna go ahead and change the end frame to 120 frames. I'm not gonna wait. All right, so first things first, the camera is in there. You see it down there? We have it over here in our outliner. This is the properties panel with the panels on the side panels on the side for the properties. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is hit Control-Alt-0, and wherever my mouse is basically we're gonna focus it. So if I hit Control-Alt-0 over here and it's still there, and I hit it here, it's gonna go where I'm at. All right, so I'm gonna push 1 on the keypad, and I'm gonna just line it up there. Hit N if your panel's not already open, and you wanna go to View, okay? You're gonna click Camera to View, and it's gonna allow you to orbit around to see when you hit your middle mouse button. You hold it and you rotate. Or you can hit Shift middle mouse button and it'll allow you to adjust it accordingly. So we're gonna put it right about here. We're gonna do our first motion. Now, pay close attention. This tab right here that pops up is Object Properties. This thing is with a square, this outline with another little square. Click it, and this is your property panel for your transform, right? Location, rotation, scale. So I'm gonna zero that out. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a keyframe by hitting the letter I on each one of those. So now the camera is keyframe. I want to zoom in on this actual cube. And we're going to go all the way to 120 with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and make it go to 120. And understand this is in global. Okay, so it's going to go on the global axis. The global axis is green line Y, red line X, and blue line, which you can see up here, is Z. Okay, so for instance, if I hit, I want to say is 3 shows you the blue line that's from the side, right? So you hit 3 and it'll show you the blue line up and down. So we go back into our camera view. So on Y, we're gonna push it forward. And I'm gonna go on the Z and I'm gonna make it go down. And then we'll keyframe it again, I on both of those. Okay, so now here's our animation. Okay, so now your animations could do one or two things. It can ramp up slow and go and slow down. We don't want that. I wanted to go straight consistent. So with your mouse in the actual editor, even in your timeline, you can do this, okay? Because it's even on our timeline down here, but I'm using the action editor in here. So just, you can do this in your timeline. Hit T and it'll open up a menu. You want this interpolation that's linear. Click it. And now it's just gonna go straight across, okay? All right. So that's just kind of a basic animation. Now we're going to do something a little bit more up the pip. We're going to click the cube and I'm going to hit the period key on the number pad. If you do not have a number pad and you're using a laptop, go into Edit, go to Preferences, go to Input, and up top there is a Emulate Numpad. When it literally says main 1 to 0 keys act as the numpad ones. Okay, useful for laptops. All right, so if you don't have that, then use your laptop that way by emulating a keypad. So you will hit the period key on your numpad to zoom in on the item. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, middle mouse button, and go to the corner of this cube. I'm gonna go Control-Alt-0 on the numpad for the camera. Make sure you select your camera. And I want this corner, and I'm just gonna aim it the way I want it. And then I'm gonna go in and keyframe again, I, over location and rotation. I'm gonna go to 50. So I'm gonna go to 50, and what I want to do is I want to just kind of do this like animation like this, and I'm going to keyframe it again. I'm going to just go 1 frame forward. I'm going to completely come out of there. I'm going to go behind it, and I'm going to Control Alt 0, and I'm gonna have it do this. Okay, so that's just, like I said, it's just one of those wild animations. And again, it's gonna start there, but I wanted to go back to where it came from. So I'm gonna do this where it does that, right? Okay. So now let's look at our animation. I'm sorry, we don't want to save. All right. Even though if you're doing your thing, you want to save. So that's basically the key here, is figuring out how, like, just whatever your imagination can come up with, you can come up with. So we're going to do another one. This time I'm going to go hit 1. I'm going to scroll back far as I can. I'm going to go up a little bit. I'm going to lock my camera in, right? So I want my camera to be dead 0. So go to 0 in the location in the transform, make it 0 so it's dead center. Now I'm going to start here. There's no rotation. See how the rotation is at 0? There's no rotation. All right. So I'm going to 50 again. And I'm going to zoom in by holding Control, middle mouse button, and pushing forward. Okay. And then I'm going to lock that in. Go 51, and I'm going to spin it around to the other side. All right, it's negative 180. I'll zero out the X. All right, and we're gonna go all the way here, and then I'm gonna, again, Control, middle mouse button, push it back. And then I'm gonna key those. And there we go. So now it's, so you can come up with all sorts of ways to do an animation like this here. So I hope that this has helped some people out to understand, because a lot of people thinking, well, I need to do this like this, and this, or whatever. And a lot of times that's not the case. Okay. So what you want to do is think about, if this was a character, right? And how would I want my character? So let's say your character is facing here on the, facing this direction, right? And when this character is facing this direction, it's going to do, let's say we're going to do a POV shot. So let's say this face of the actual cube is the face of the character, this side here, right? So we're going to do a POV of it. So we're on a POV, right? And we'll do this in a little bit with another video I'm going to do. And we're going to go to 60. And I want this to just kind of be really dramatic. But I'm going to use my transform so I don't mess anything up. So I'm going to rotate this to make it go towards the right, and then I'm going to find my spacing on the X, and we'll make it zoom across, right? But I still want this to turn in that direction because I want it to face the character, right? And we're going to stop like right there, and then we're going to get it to go right up on the character, and we're going to find, again, we're finding that spacing, all right? And I'm going to key that. So here we go. Okay, so the key here is to finding those spaces and where you would want it to be. So I'm going to show a more defined one in the next video where you see the character themselves, and the character, I'm gonna have an animation on the character already. So we're gonna deal, again, we're still dealing with basic camera motion. So we're gonna deal with camera animations, camera actions, and we're gonna have the character doing a really strong animation, and I'll show you from there. So I hope this helps someone out, give you a basic start, man. None but love. Subscribe, like, comment, tell me what it is that you would like to see, and I'll make that that video for that, and we'll go from there. None but love.